Virginia O'Brien froze on stage in front of thousands of people during her first stage performance in 1940. In that moment, her dreams of becoming a successful singer flashed before her eyes. But she immediately found a way to turn her disastrous debut into an interesting act. This video reveals how Virginia's brilliance enabled her to create the life and career of her dreams. But before we get to the video, I've noticed that only a small percentage of people that watch these videos are actually subscribed. So if you end up liking the video, would you consider subscribing? It's free, and you can always change your mind. Enjoy the video. From a grievous mistake to a lifetime opportunity. All through the 1940s, Victoria O'Brien stood out as one of the best singers in the music and film industry. She was known for her sonorous and intriguing performances in Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer musicals for several years. Even though Victoria's entertainment skills shone through the most part of the golden age of TV, most of her viewers and colleagues don't know the shocking story behind her sudden fame. At a time when thousands of talented singers, actresses, and dancers were struggling to get opportunities to showcase their skills, Victoria was able to get a major gig to sing in front of a large number of people. But the opportunity didn't come easy. She had applied and auditioned for several gigs for months before landing her first stage gig. However, as soon as she was called out on stage for her first ever singing role in the LA stage production Meet the People, fear gripped her. Instead of singing the song that she was supposed to sing, she froze immediately and awkward silence fell on the crowd. And for some reason, she couldn't get herself out of that paralyzed state that she was in. So, she decided to render her performance regardless of the fear. She immediately thought of a way to turn her dilemma into an interesting performance by infusing a funny style of singing. Now, she sang so well that the crowd looked past her motionless and expressionless performance, and they actually found her eccentric style funny and entertaining. By the time she was done singing with a straight face, the entire crowd was cheering nonstop. Her brilliance and creativity was what enabled her to transform her performance that day and beyond. To date, most of the viewers that saw her performance that day have no idea of the clever strategy she used. Interestingly, her humorous singing style later paved the way for the success of her career. In fact, the head of Goldwyn-Mayer, Louis Mayer, saw potential in her during the performance and decided to put her on a 7-year contract. Victoria's brilliant move enabled her to attract several other opportunities that were instrumental to her success in the entertainment industry. Virginia O'Brien, a brilliant actress. After Victoria's first iconic stage performance, she began getting more gigs to perform in several musicals like Keep Off the Grass, using the same humorous singing style with no facial expressions or body movements. Soon enough, her style began to gain her nicknames like Frozen Face, as she got thousands of fans. She also recorded and released a couple of songs including The Wild Wild West and Say We're Sweethearts Again. She later started her film career through her contract with MGM. Now, even though she was known for her emotionless singing style at the time, she knew that she had to learn how to express the emotions of the movie characters that she was given. Her acting style was said to be highly exceptional, as she stood out as one of the best actresses during the Golden Age. Her character as Kitty in the 1941 comedy film The Big Store was said to be very interesting and amusing. The fact that she was already known as a comedy queen during that period made a lot of viewers gravitate toward her movies. Her performances were always top-notch, and she always found a way to portray every character's personality in a unique way. In 1943, she was selected to play the role of Jenny in the musical comedy Dewberry Was Lady. She later got an opportunity to be in the film version of Meet the People with the then-famous lead actor Dick Powell. All through the late 1940s, she continued to appear in several films as she performed excellently in all the roles she was given. Unfortunately, after a guest appearance in the 1948 series musical Go Round, she was suddenly dropped from her MGM film contract. She created her own seat at the table. So after MGM let her go, she had to begin searching for movie roles and gigs independently, but for some reason, they just weren't coming forth. She later decided to move back to TV and she also found a way to revive her live performances. She continued to use her humorous singing style as she performed in pubs, nightclubs, and theaters for the most part of the early 1950s. Now, she didn't give up on her film career despite the challenges that she faced. After auditioning for a while, she was finally selected to appear in the 1955 comedy film Francis in the Navy. Years later, she got another opportunity to appear in the 1976 Walt Disney comedy Gus. Despite the fact that she was getting movie roles occasionally, she wasn't satisfied with her career's progress, so she decided to create her own seat at the table and write her own success story. In 1984, she created and launched a cabaret act, Virginia O'Brien Salutes the MGM Musicals, which was a one-woman show. Her show turned out to be highly successful as crowds gathered to watch her performances frequently. She often combined humor, creativity, and her great talents to give her audience a show. Her unforgettable performances in Hollywood nightclubs, hotels, and bars gained her a lot of fame and fans for the rest of the 80s and even the 90s, and she was able to successfully create an opportunity for herself even in the midst of disappointments and rejection. She broke free from her fears. Well, Virginia was one of the 1940s entertainers who struggled with her self-confidence. Even though she was often praised for her physical beauty and attractiveness, she didn't want to be defined by shallow attributes. So, after her dilemma in her first stage performance, she decided to invest some time and money into building confidence in herself and her craft. In fact, during the period that she was beginning to get famous after her stage performance, she was advised to stick to singing, because that was what brought her fame in the first place. She even began to consider giving up her dreams of being an actress, but she later got the courage together and welcomed the changes that her career presented. She was willing to diversify her career, knowing that she would excel in both the film and music industry if she didn't let fear get in the way. Her boldness led to her becoming one of Hollywood's top female comedic actresses of the 40s. She took great lessons from her predecessors. Virginia was one of the few Hollywood actresses who became successful at a young age. At 21, she was already performing alongside prominent actors and actresses. However, even with the fame and attention she was getting from thousands of people, she didn't lose sight of her goals. She realized that it was necessary for her to keep learning and improving on her acting and singing skills to be able to remain relevant in a highly competitive industry. So she decided to study her predecessors in order to learn all that she needed to know about her genre of acting and singing. The fact that she learned great lessons from these prominent stars enabled her to infuse new tactics and skills into her career that eventually led to her becoming a huge success. So even though she was only in her 20s and the 40s, she was able to act professionally and skillfully like an actress who had been in the game for a long time. Also, while she was creating her one-woman act, she carefully learned from certain other actresses who she considered successful. The fusion of her incredible talents, her teachability, and her brilliance was what created the exceptional, unforgettable 1940s actress she's known as today. After a full career, Virginia O'Brien passed on at the age of 81. Her tenacity and drive continues to inspire people across the world. So which of these facts about Virginia O'Brien caught your interest the most? Let us know in the comments below and check out the next video in this series.